I believe I owe you all who participated an explanation. So, as I'm pretty sure I said in the video that I put out asking, like, hey, please ask me some questions, I want to do an art Q&A, and you can ask personal questions as well. I mentioned how I was sick, and I was like, okay, it's just a cold, I'm gonna be better in like 3 days, it'll be fine. The next day I was feeling even worse, and I was just like, okay, this usually happens, then I'll feel better the next day. The next day comes, I feel better, I feel fine, but my voice was not it, my voice was so tired. And what was even worse is that I had an audition because I was auditioning for a play, I was auditioning for Footloose, and, I did it with a sore voice. I forgot to tell the casting people that I was sick, and, yeah, it did not go well, but, yeah, so that took way too long to recover, and now my voice is fine, I feel fine, I can finally get this thing started. But I also grabbed some ice cream because when I grabbed my iPad, because I recorded on my nearly 7-year-old iPad, it was dead, so it's currently plugged in. I grabbed some ice cream. I'm gonna finish it because it's gonna melt soon, and then I'll start with your guys' questions. So for you all who don't know, I put a video on my YouTube short and on my TikTok, asking for some questions that you guys had for me, like any art questions. Or personal questions as well, I took either. Those videos are deleted now, so don't go looking for them. I deleted them after I recovered from my sickness and was suffering from a sore throat. So if for you guys who are new to my channel, hi, my name is Moonstar, you guys can call me Moony. I'm an artist. If you look on my channel, it's kind of hard to tell, but on my YouTube shorts, I do upload a lot of my artwork. My channel is more just a channel where I talk about random stuff, and clown-nosed Shakespeare's wife always appears on the screen, so I apologize if it scares you in any way. I do sell my art. I have an Etsy for it. I have Instagram as well. And my Instagram is open to any DMs, even my email. I'm open to any messages that you guys have, any questions you guys have about art. I'm always going to answer those. I want to help you guys with your art journey. So always feel free to do that. So I'm going to answer some of the personal questions that you guys asked. So the first question is, favorite color. My favorite color is purple, like all types of purple. I know there's this whole thing going on about, in TikTok, about like how purple people are like insane and everything's purple. That is completely true. My favorite character from my favorite movie. So my favorite movie, I have a list for it. It's currently The Incredibles. I think that has changed. I honestly don't even have a favorite movie anymore. But I might change it to WALL-E. And of course, WALL-E is my favorite character of WALL-E. He's my favorite Pixar character. He's probably my favorite fictional character of all time, if I'm being real here. He's adorable, I love him. I prefer hot or cold? Okay, so back then, when I was younger, I would always say hot because I always preferred the heat to the cold weather, and that's because I never wear shorts. And I still don't. I don't feel comfortable in shorts. So that's probably why I was like, hot weather, I can handle it. But now, I am going to say cold because if you're cold, you can easily just bundle up. If you're hot, you have the risk of being naked, like, out in public. So, cold it is. So, now I'm gonna answer your art questions. First question is, what is the first art piece that I remember doing? If I'm going to be honest, it was probably when I was 6 years old, and I was at my aunt's house, and I've been drawing ever since then. That kind of answers this other question, which is when did you start drawing? As long as I can remember. I believe, if I want to be specific, it was like, when I was 3. So, yeah. The first art piece I remember, it was probably when I was like 5 or 6. I was at my aunt's house, and of course I was already into drawing. I was just like, I love to draw, and they considered me good for my age. If I'm being honest, I don't remember how I drew back then, but they considered me good. So they asked me to draw a sandwich, and so I drew a sandwich, but because I was like 5 or 6, I didn't understand angles or anything. So I was just like, hey, I'm gonna be creative here, and I'm gonna draw an open sandwich instead. And they were like, wow, that looks so good. And I was so proud of myself, because I was like, I avoided a problem I could have had because I'm 5. I don't have experience with art. I can't draw a sandwich. I actually drew a sandwich recently. Do you guys like it? Yeah, it's very beautiful. Another question I got is, who taught you to draw? I'm pretty sure after what I just mentioned, I am pretty much self-taught. I did have an art teacher when I was 10 years old, but I'm just gonna be real here, she was awful. I didn't feel like I was being creative in what I was doing. I just felt like I was copying. And I do understand that when you start doing commissions and stuff that you have to, do specifically what the person who asked you to do, you have to do exactly what they ask you, But I also feel like I was 10, and I feel like that's the time to express what you can do, so you could tell people, hey, this is what I can do, so if you ever want, like, anything from me, this is, like, what I can do, And I didn't start doing actual commissions until I was probably 12. So I just feel like I'm self-taught, mainly, because I hardly learned anything in that class. I did learn how to crosshatch, though. That was pretty cool, but I mainly kind of just learned the term of crosshatching. I developed the skill on my own. So, yeah, I'm self-taught. This one, I had to think about a little bit. What inspired you to start drawing? Again, since I kind of developed the habit of drawing since I was 3 years old, I don't really know. But I feel like maybe when I was 3 to 5, it was just kind of a toddler's instinct, I guess, because what toddler and elementary schooler didn't draw at some point, I feel like most people did. I think what inspired me to keep drawing is probably just the will to get better, because I saw other people's artwork. I had this one friend, I think I mentioned her in my video where I look at my old art. She's really good at artwork. Like, I don't specifically remember what her artwork looked like, but we were friends in kindergarten, and her art, it blew my mind, and I was just like, I want to be just as good as her. I want to be that. And we were really close, I didn't envy her. She didn't think I was trying to, be above her or anything. I would say we were both pretty mature for elementary schoolers. So I think it was just that. It was just, I wanted to be like this. I want to find my own style. However, I will say that I recently got into dressmaking, and what inspired that is actually movies, specifically the costumes that this designer named Sandy Powell would design. I love her designs. She does everything that's pretty historically accurate. I believe she made the dress in Cinderella, or designed it. I don't think she made it, I think she designed it. But she also won an Oscar for the Young Victoria, I believe. She's just amazing. I love her work. How many layers of sketching do I do? I did confirm with this person, because we're friends, what this question exactly meant, like with digital art or with traditional art, and they said like either way, so I'm gonna explain both. For my drawings, I usually just do a sketching outline, have a kneaded eraser, go over it, then start with whatever media I'm gonna do. I actually stopped doing sketches for my acrylic paintings. I don't know why, but this one that I just finished with the Eiffel Tower, I didn't use a sketch for that one, although I kind of wish I did, because the top is a bit wonky, but I just used white paint and just outlined the whole thing, and I was like, alright, I'm just gonna go with it, no pencil sketch. For digital art, I don't really know, because I know my finished pieces, they usually have like a layer of the characters and then a background, which is on a different layer, and then maybe some other layer with small details. And the reason that is because when I would draw on different layers, I would merge them together, just because if I finished one layer and another one, it was just easier to merge them together for final details. I should probably stop doing it, but it's just worked for me. But don't be ashamed to do more layers, because I know sometimes, like for my drawing of Olivia Newton-John in Grease, I did that one on regular printer paper, and then I transferred it to thicker paper, and then I did the gouache on top. So I would consider that 3 layers, you know? So it just depends on your preference, really. Next question is shading advice. This one, I'm going to explain the best I can. I feel like for digital art, I'm going to start off with that because that's going to be easiest because I have videos. IBIS Paint X records like while I draw. So I'm just going to insert one here while I explain what I do. So of course I have a reference in the corner. I usually remove it when I'm finishing up details because I can kind of remember references pretty well. And then I also like to change up some things about the reference because I don't like copying things completely. And I usually just build up from there because with digital art, you can blend any colors together and it's going to be perfect. However, with traditional art, I'm going to explain for both painting and drawing, specifically acrylic painting and colored pencil, like Prismacolor drawings. Usually when I create shadows, I don't use a darker shade anymore. Instead, I use purple, like any kind of purple, and a dark blue, because even though it's noticeable, they create such a vibrant shadow that you just can't get with black or a brown. And it's a tip that I learned quite a while ago. I don't even know where I got it from. I think I was just studying other colored pencil drawings, and I was like, hey, they incorporated purple there. How about I try that? And I tried it, and it changed my life. So even if you're a digital artist, please try using different colors for your shadows, even if there's not supposed to be a different colored lighting, because I think it can turn out pretty cool. So if you guys want, I can make a whole video about shading advice because it took me a while to develop shading. I used to just shade in black and white. But if you guys want a video on that, please let me know. And again, feel free to message me, put something in the comments if you want anything else. All right, next question. Would I recommend gouache paint? So I actually got those jelly gouache paints a couple months ago, and I made a couple of gouache paintings. I made one from A Scene in La La Land, Olivia Newton-John, and I used it on a couple of my bookmarks because I create bookmarks now. I'm still getting used to them. I think it's because they're a mix of acrylic. It's easy for me to grasp, but I'm terrible at watercolor. But I feel like if you're good at one or the other, you should be fine. But even if you're not, I do suggest giving them a try. They're very interesting, to say the least. But I do recommend them, especially the jelly gouache that, even though they do dry out and it's kind of sad, you can easily just wet them down because, again, it's like watercolor. It's not just like acrylic. If you wet it down, you know. I do recommend researching a little bit about gouache. You don't have to go in depth, but just about how the medium works and to just see if it works for you. If you're not really into painting, then probably don't spend your money on it because I think they're kind of expensive. I think mine were like $30. I don't exactly know. If you want to get more in depth with painting, especially maybe a different medium, and you're into maybe even acrylic or watercolor, I do recommend them. I think it'll be an interesting experience, and don't get frustrated if you don't get it right on the first try, because they might take some time. Next question I also have to think about a little bit. What is so good about Prismacolor and Copics? I'm going to tell you guys something. I don't have Copics. I never used a Copic marker in my life. I have Ohuhu markers, and this brand called Shuttle Art. They're not the best, but they're doable, and I do enjoy using them for backgrounds when I need like the chisel tip. Ohuhus, in my opinion, they work best for me, and they can be kind of pricey, especially if you get the brush tip markers, but I've gotten used to markers a lot. I created a couple of drawings. I use them for my bookmarks. So I just think what's so good about Ohuhu markers is while the colors, in my opinion, they kind of put random colors in there, but I think they're great for the value. I can't remember how much they are on the top of my head. I'll put it on the screen. In Prismacolors, I actually owe Prismacolors a lot. So when I started colored pencil drawings, I think I was 10 or 11, I just had, I just had Crayola pencils, which is probably what everyone had, and I would practice a lot with those. And no matter what I did, no matter how much I changed up my technique, I just cannot work with them. And I never understood why. I just assumed I was terrible at colored pencils. That wasn't until I got my first pack of Prismacolors, and they changed my life. Of course, I wasn't good right away, but they were a lot easier to use. They worked for me, and I was able to develop my skills, and now I can create pretty good colored pencil drawings. And I really don't like telling this story too much because it kind of just gets the idea of, oh, I'm not good at this supply because it's cheap, I'll get an more expensive one. No, that wasn't the case. It was just that Crayola didn't work for me. I don't think it had anything to do with the value. Like Caran d'Ache colored pencils, I would never get those. Faber-Castell, I would never get those because I don't like a harder formula. I just had to save some money and hopefully find something that worked for me, and that did involve looking to see, will these color pencils work for me? Because this is going to be an investment, because Prismacolors, they're not that cheap. And I think I started off with either the 30 or 72 pack, so it was a bargain. And I do think I should have first gotten the 12 pack instead. But Prismacolors just worked so well for me. So I think that's why they're so good for me personally. Just because the formula works best with me. These last two questions I am going to combine together. How I became so good at art, and how do I start my art journey? So, I know you guys are probably expecting, she's gonna say, oh, just practice, and oh, you don't need expensive supplies and stuff. And I'm just gonna say that, yeah, I am gonna mention it because both are very true. But what I'm also going to say is that in order to be a good artist, and in order to be an open-minded artist, you have to realize that, yes, practice is important, but it's not good if you're just copying what you're always doing. So, for example, what I said about the shading, I used to only shade in black and white, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna practice my shading a little bit, and I'll get better. And I did, but the problem is that I still only shaded in black and white. And again, that was until I studied other people's techniques, and I stopped using the blender so much on digital art that I was like, wow, this works a lot better. Let me practice a little bit more with this and see if I can get better, which I did. So it is not just about practice, it's also about seeing what is not working and working towards making it better and work for you. I also see a lot of people see like, oh, I'm so frustrated with my art because my style keeps changing. And I will admit, that's a problem I've faced multiple times, and I still do sometimes. But I'm just thinking, I am an artist, and my art is going to change. I'm going to still continue to get better no matter how old I am. And so why should I still stay confined to this one style when I can express myself more, maybe even give more people more options for commissions, like more options with styles? I can still expand so much more. So if you don't stick with one distinct style, that's okay. You can branch out. You can find new styles. For example, I had this one style for a while where I wouldn't blend colors together, but to create shadows, I would do kind of cross-hatching. And I still do use it sometimes on my digital art, even though it's much less. But I had a fun time with it, and I don't regret doing it because I just looked at my blank page one day and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna try this out. And it worked out. So I think that's all really what art is about. And if you're wondering like what age you should start at, is it too late? It's never too late. You can easily improve yourself by taking others' advice. You can, again, keep practicing, but still changing things. You can look at other people's artwork, which helped me to find out that people use purples and blues for shadows. And you can even be inspired by other styles without copying it completely. And if you do copy a style, don't post it anywhere, because you should just consider that one as a practice, and if you post it, you could get in trouble for it. So that's my advice. Just keep working at it, keep changing things, do what works best for you, because that's how I learned, honestly. I did what was best for me, I stretched out my creativity, and if it weren't for other people, I don't think I would be where I am today. So I'm hoping that this video maybe inspires you. Don't give up. Anyways, guys, I'm sorry that took a while. As I'm pretty sure I mentioned multiple times on my other videos, I stutter a lot when on camera, and I blank a lot. I need to start writing scripts. I was gonna write a script for this video, but again, since I was sick and everything, and I was kind of busy, I know I'm just making excuses for myself, but I just was like, you know what, I'll make a script for my next video. I'll try to do that, see if I stutter less. If it doesn't work out, then just deal with it, I guess. I'm sorry. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you guys want to see next, if you guys want to see more art videos, or you like more of my comedy content. I enjoy making them, so I'm willing to do whatever you guys suggest, and I'll see you next time.